Today I'll be taking a look at Disney's Aulani Resort in Hawaii. So I recently stayed there and I'll be showing you some of the things I experienced on my trip. So I'll show you the pools and the water slides, I'll go over the food and treat options, and I'll have some tips and suggestions that are really good for first-time visitors. I wish I knew a few of these before my trip. So let's go to Aulani. So the first thing we need to do is fly to Hawaii. So flying is recommended as driving is a bit challenging. So Aulani is located on the island of Oahu, and it is down in that southwest corner of the island where you'll find the Ko Olina Resort community. So this community has various resorts spread out over 4 separate lagoons. And on that first lagoon, you will find Disney's Aulani Resort. So the first thing you'll experience is this beautiful island-themed lobby. This was really cool to step into. I loved the way the ceiling looked and just the way it was themed and decorated. And down the hallway to your right is the check-in desk, so that's probably the first place you're gonna stop. And down the hallway to your left is the stores. But if you go straight through the lobby out those back doors, you'll find yourself overlooking the pool area of the resort. So you'll see the volcano and get glimpses of the lazy river, and there's even a koi pond down there too. So the lobby is located on the 3rd floor, so you actually get a pretty good view from here. And when you turn around, you get to see the nice high ceilings of the main lobby building. For an even better view, here's what it looked like from the balcony of our room on the 7th floor. So you get a great view of the pool area and the lazy river, and you can even see the ocean, which is really cool. This is a really nice view from up here. Aulani has 2 water slides. The first one is the Volcanic Vertical, which is a slide that you go down just by yourself with no tube. So this slide is completely pitch black inside. Once you turn that first turn, you can't see anything until you turn the last turn and it drops you off in this pool. Then you can either go on the slide again or stay in the pool. So I don't have any video of this slide because it would just be pitch black. The other slide is the Tubestone Curl. So this one is an open slide that mostly stays outside, but it does go through a few small tunnels. This slide requires you to be sitting in an inner tube. You can go in a 1-person tube, or you can take a friend with you and go down in a 2-person tube. This slide is a ton of fun. I love this one. You do go slightly faster in the 2-person tube, but just know that if you have 2 adults in the tube, there's a good chance you'll flip over at the end. But flipping over or not, this slide drops you off right into the lazy river, so you can decide if you want to get out and go on the slide again, or just stay in your tube and float down the lazy river. The lazy river was my favorite thing at the Aulani Resort. You just sit back and relax while the current slowly guides you around the river. And while you're sitting there and relaxing and making your way around the river, you'll enjoy the tropical landscapes. You'll see some cool waterfalls on the sides and some rustic brick canals that are really fun to go through. But keep a weather eye open, mates. There be water ahead. Yes, there are a few spots on this river that will get you wet. These fountains were tough to avoid. No matter how I tried getting through them, there just didn't seem to be enough space to fit the whole inner tube in between the water jets. So I always got a little splashed at that spot. A little further down the river, you'll go through a cave area that has a lot of waterfalls coming out of the ceiling of the cave. These waterfalls get you nice and wet. The good news is that it's usually very nice weather there, so getting wet just adds to the fun. I did notice these little black rocks around the river are actually water fountains, but most of them were not turned on at all during my visit. There was one section that had 3 of them that were turned on, but we only saw them shoot water out 1 time, So there are a lot of pools here to play in, relax by. You have the main pool, which the dark water slide dumps you off into. So that's kind of in the main area there where you have the volcano. It's kind of over the top of it. There is an 18-year and older infinity pool here. And there's also an infinity pool for all ages. So that one has a hot tub that's tucked back in a little cave area, which is a really fun feature. If you would like to experience some sand and salt water, you can head down to the lagoon. So you can lounge on the beach, play in the sand, swim in the water, or rent a paddleboard. So thanks to the wave breakers on the opening of the lagoon, it's very calm with barely any waves. So it's a great place for the young ones to play, or if you want to try paddleboarding for the first time like I did. Looking good, and I didn't fall off the board, so that's a success. So there are a lot of various food items around the resort, ranging from the fine dining restaurants to the sit-down restaurants to poolside bars and the poolside snack stands. So my family doesn't have the most adventurous eaters, so we ate a lot at the Off the Hook poolside grill. They served things like burgers and flatbreads and nachos. And we found ourselves at the Ulu Cafe quite a bit. They have a lot of grab-and-go options, from muffins and cookies and treats and drinks and chips. And they also serve hot things like hot sandwiches, pizzas, flatbreads. They have some salads. And then in the morning, they have hot sandwiches on croissants and bagel sandwiches, which were all really good. And during the day at the pool, we got a lot of snacks from Mama's Snack Stop, which had things like fish sticks and chicken tenders and mini corn dogs and some other favorite snack items. You'll find many delicious treats at the resort. In the middle of the pool area, you'll find the Shave Ice stand. So you have a few different options there, options 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can get just the Shave Ice, you can put some condensed milk on it, you can get some ice cream at the bottom, or you can get both the condensed milk and the ice cream. And for $1 more, you can add Mickey ears to the Shave Ice. Down by the lagoon, you'll find a treat stand that has Dole Whips. Yes, you can get Dole Whips outside of the Disney parks. They also have Mickey ice cream bars, and my favorite, the white chocolate dipped pineapple spear covered in toasted coconut flakes. This was so good. I love this. This was my favorite treat at the resort. Also down by the lagoon is the rental hut, where you can rent snorkels, paddle boards, and get some complimentary beach items like umbrellas and boogie boards. Back up in the pool area, you can sign up for the Rainbow Reef experience, where you can snorkel and see some tropical fish. But don't worry, for those who don't want to snorkel, you can still see the fish through some underwater windows over by the Shave Ice stand. So there is pin trading at Aulani. So the scheduled pin boards are from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Lava Shack, which is the shop down in the middle of the pool area. And then from 3 to 4 p.m. in the lobby, just outside the main store, is a pin board. And while I was there was a pin board just past the check-in desk. It was there from, it seems to be about 10 to 2. I'm not sure if that one's there all the time, but it was there every day I was there. And speaking of pins, you can buy new pins. So each store had a little pin section where you can get a few pins, but the main shop in the lobby had a decent sized pin selection with a lot of Aulani pins. So I did come home with quite a few pins and traded a few, and I will show those to you in a separate Aulani pin haul video, so you can keep your eye out for that. So here are a few helpful tips and suggestions for first-time visitors to Aulani. So in order to use the pools and water slides, you have to have the daily wristband. So each day has a different colored band, and you get the wristbands at the pool towel stands that open at 8 a.m. So as you can imagine, at 8 a.m., there's quite a long line of people getting their wristbands and towels. But the tip is, starting at noon the day before, you can get the next day's wristband. So while you're there, just remember that sometime in the afternoon, stop by the towel stand and get tomorrow's wristbands, and you can avoid that 8 a.m. line. So another tip is that your room key card can be used to pay for things, and it just charges to your room. So this is great because you don't need to bring your wallet or your ID or any credit cards with you down to the pool. This can be used to charge everything. So you can use this to get food, treats, drinks, merchandise. You can even pay for all of your meals, dinners, and everything with this card. So the way it works is when you're in the check-in process, you come up with a 4-digit PIN code, and then you have to type in that code every time you use your key card to pay for anything. So this is great for kids because you can just send them off to get their drink or their treat, and you don't have to get up from your chair and go wait in line with them just to pay for it. Of course, you gotta be careful with that because your kid might show up to your lounge chair wearing a $100 Hawaiian shirt and a pair of $200 sunglasses. So you know your family better than I do, so you can pick and choose whose key cards are able to buy things with. Another suggestion is that you can purchase these refillable souvenir mugs. So these are mugs that you can buy in the shops, and you can refill them anytime you'd like at one of the Coca-Cola Freestyle machines at the Ulu Cafe and the Lava Shack. And you can also fill them with coffee or hot water for tea. You can even do cold water from the Freestyle machines. If you buy one of these refillable mugs on day one, you're gonna save a ton of money over the time you're there, especially if you plan on getting 2, 3, or 4 drinks a day. So the biggest tip that I have for you is the one that I wish I knew before my visit. So if you're like me, you'd like to have your phone when you're down by the pool. You know, you gotta keep up on the latest information, like the newest pen releases. But Aulani has no lockers. So if you bring your phone or say a Kindle to read a book by the pool, and you need to go into the pool or the lazy river or a slide, your only options are to leave those devices at your chair or maybe in a bag, or you can bring them back up to your room, which would take a lot of time. So what we tried to do is just not have phones, and it was a bit challenging because we missed a few cool picture opportunities because we didn't have a camera with us. And then the menu for the poolside lounge was a QR code you scan with your phone, which we didn't have a phone. So before you visit, I recommend you go buy one of these waterproof phone cases for anyone in your group who wants their phone by the pools. Once your phone is in one of those pouches, you can bring it with you in the slides, in the pools, on the lazy river, and you don't have to leave it unsupervised on your chair. So they do sell these waterproof pouches at the main store in the lobby, but they were completely sold out our entire trip. So you might as well just pick them up before you come and you'll be all set. So my overall opinion of Disney's Aulani Resort is that it is a super fun place to visit and you should definitely check it out if you can. It's a great Hawaiian vacation where you stay inside that familiar Disney bubble. So the whole family can be having fun and the kids can go off and do their own thing, and you know they're on Disney property and there's lifeguards everywhere. So one place for improvement that I can see is to have more food options there. If you have family members with very different styles of eating, having an expensive preset 3-course dinner is not really gonna work so well. So if I go to Disneyland for 3 nights, I'm not going to eat at the Blue Bayou all 3 nights. So I think what Aulani could really use is like a Bengal barbecue or something like that down by the pool. That would be so cool. Or maybe a more mid-priced Italian restaurant or a Mexican food restaurant. I think those would be really nice additions for the resort. So the other thing that I'll say, for my family, a 2-night stay was the perfect amount of time. We got there at noon on a Tuesday and we ate lunch, and then we played in the water until the evening. It felt like a full day of fun. And then we had all day Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we left around 1 p.m. So it felt like 3 full days of fun for us. So if we stayed a 3rd night or a 4th night, we probably would have started going off-site for food, and the water days would have started being the same as the previous day. So I think the lazy river and the water slides would have lost a little bit of their magic. But that's just me. You could be completely different. I saw people there that had like 7, 8, or even 9 wristbands going all the way up their forearm, which is awesome. I'm just letting you know this because I've heard people trying to plan Aulani trips and they're kind of struggling with it. And then when I look into it, they're trying to budget for a 5-night stay, which, yeah, that's pretty expensive. So don't be afraid to sit there and shoot for a 2-night stay or even a 3-night stay, especially if it's your first trip there, because you'll learn a lot, and then you can take what you learn and plan better for your second trip. My recommendation is you stay at Aulani for 2 nights, maybe 3 nights if you can, and then you go stay somewhere else on Oahu or maybe even Maui or Kauai. That way you get to experience Hawaii from inside the Disney bubble and outside of the Disney bubble. So anyway, those are my experiences and my opinions on Disney's Aulani Resort. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.